Okay, in this video, we are going to be using equations and proportional relationships. So we are still making them, but now we're going to be using them. So for the very first one, again, sorry for the error, we have John paid $40 for 5 movie tickets. We need to find his unit rate or the cost per one ticket. Again, a unit rate is going to be the per one or the per one ticket. So in order to figure that out, we need to do some division. So I know that his total cost was 40. So we're going to do $40 divided by the 5 tickets that he purchased. Okay, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. So each ticket costs $8 per one ticket or per ticket. Again, that's just saying that each ticket costs $8. Okay, then we need to complete the table. 5 is already given in the table and with the cost because it was given in my description up there at the top. I knew that $40 cost 5 movie tickets, so I went ahead and just filled that in. It's also true because 5 times 8, which was my cost per ticket, is equal to 40. So with that being said, I can fill out the rest of my table. 1 times 8 is 8. So if he just bought one ticket, it would be $8. Okay. 7 times 8, we need to figure that one out, is 56. So it would be $56. And then 9 times 8 is 72. If he was buying 9 tickets, it would cost $72. Okay, now a brief recap. We also realized that this creates a mathematical, like a pattern, or also an equation where this is your column Y, this is your column X, independent, dependent variables going on here. Okay, so we have that Y is equal to, or your second column is always equal to that constant proportionality or that unit rate. In this case, it was the number 8 multiplied by those X values always gave me the answer. So all this equation is saying that I multiplied all of these numbers by 8 to get the answer. So a way that I like to write it is 8, because that's the number I kept multiplying over and over again, times X. So I did 8 times X, and that ended up giving me the Y value. So I like to write it in this direction, but again, it's going to be more commonly seen in Y equals 8 times X, or Y equals KX is your formula that we're using, where K is your unit rate or your constant of proportionality. Okay, let's dive into another one. So now that you can kind of see why or how equations come about, again, we just noticed that we multiplied 8 all the way across to get my answer. That kept happening. That's all that this equation is saying. If you have a coefficient next to a variable, remember from 6th grade, that's a one-step problem, and this operation means multiplication. So all we're saying is you're multiplying each X value by 8 to get the Y value, which is what we did every single time. Okay, so the next one, we have a table, and I'm going to write this table down quickly. So we have 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So those are my X values. Okay, the Y values are 0, 6, 9, 12, and 15. Okay, at this moment in time, I'm not going to be focused on 0, because if I was to divide 0 divided by 0, I'm going to get 0 anyway. So that's not going to help me much with finding my unit rate, but I am going to take Y over X. Okay, we always make sure we divide in the opposite, not necessarily opposite direction, but we're going to put the Y over the X. So we're going to do 6 divided by 2 to get my unit rate. So every single one of these, I'm going to do 6 divided by 2, 9 divided by 3, 12 divided by 4, and 15 divided by 5. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3. 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. And 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. So I have a constant of proportionality. I have a unit rate. Constant just meaning that the number is the same. And if I was to go in this direction as a table, I'm multiplying by the number that I got over here. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. So this is how it works. Okay. So now we need to write the equation in our formula of y equals kx, or kx is equal to y, k being the constant of proportionality, or your unit rate, the number that was multiplied over and over and over again. So in that case, my number was 3, and I multiplied it by my x value. So I just put x in there, and I equaled the y value. Or if you like this particular way better, we multiply by 3 each and every single time by the x values, and it equaled the y values. So either way that you want to write your equation, you can. Okay. And one more example. We are going to use, I'm going to flip it over. Okay. So number 3, we have the number of roses. So number of roses compared to the cost or the price. Okay. We have 3 roses costing us $9. We have 6 roses costing us $18. We have 9 roses costing us $27. We have 12 roses costing us $36. And last, we have 15 roses costing us $45. Okay, so with that information, we need to figure out first our unit rate. Okay, so how much is a cost per one rose? So when the table is expressed in this direction, think about just your common unit rates. In this case, it's going to be cost per rose. So cost per rose, which means we're taking the bottom number divided by the top. So here we need to do 9 over 3, 18 divided by 6, 27 divided by 9, 36 divided by 12, and then 45 divided by 15. Every single time that we do our division, we get the number 3. It just so happened it's the same number from the last one. Okay, so that means that each rose is costing me, so $3 per rose. Okay, so let's say I have my unit rate. I'm putting it into my equation. Y is equal to 3x, or 3x is equal to y. Okay, from here, I'm going to figure out additional values that was not given in my table. So if I want to know the cost of, this is why we're using equations now, the cost of 2 roses, what are you going to do? Okay, what about the cost of 5 roses? That wasn't in my table. Okay, and what about last, the cost of 10 roses? Okay, so again, we are going to figure out, let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see the entire table there. We are going to use our equation to find values that were not given in my table. Nothing I haven't done before, because I've already filled out tables to get additional values. This time we're just looking at it differently and saying it's not given in the table. Let's find out more information. And the equation, or our cost per rose, can do it. The equation is just a mathematical formula and way that we write what we're really doing. All we're doing is multiplying the number of rows by how much each rose cost. So if I was to buy 1 rose, it's 3. If I buy 2, it would be 2 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, so forth and so on. This equation is just writing down the operation that we're doing. Okay, so the cost of 2 roses, okay, it's 3. That's your cost per rose, times x. X in this case is 2 roses. And 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So my y value is $6. All I'm doing is using this equation. Okay, $3 per rose. I want to know how much 5 roses cost. So we're going to plug in the number 5. for x and figure out what that equals. Oh, that number is 15. So 5 roses equals $15. Let's figure out how much 10 roses cost. That would be 3 times 10. Oh, that number is equal to 30. So 10 roses would equal $30. Okay, so I hope this video has kind of helped you, one, realize proportional relationships have a constant or the same number and whenever you divide across your table. Second, unit rate is expressed with per one of whatever particular description or whatever is going on in the word problem. And then two, you have an equation where your constant of proportionality or your unit rate is K. And again, we write it in the formula of Y is equal to KX or KX is equal to Y. Feel free to pause, replay, and go back and watch this video, which is the same thing as the word replay, as many times as you need. If you are watching this during the 2020-2021 school year, please make sure that you have your examples written on page 10 of your notebook, and best of luck to you on the independent practice.